Humiliation. Pure, simple, unadulterated humiliation. That was the only feeling resonating throughout Poppy's exhausted being. Hello storytellers, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lauren. I'm an actress, teacher and all-round storyteller, and we are sharing my adventures in parks, pages and pixels, and it's another book review today. This one, very excited about. So here is your quick context. I went to the Magical Market in Birmingham, what would have been end of 2020. We were all masked up. Me and my husband went together, got a hotel room, made a little trip out of it. I'd only been to Birmingham once for the Close Show Live when I was, not twice then, Close Show Live, when I was in my A-levels. And while I was there, I met an author called Beth Cooper. She had a stall there and she was selling her books. And this was one of them. Remember Who You Are. And already you can tell from the caption of the title and the picture, it's Disney themed. You know how much I love my Disney. I'm very lucky in that because I was there, she also signed it. And it says, "To Lauren, thank you for buying my little book. Have a magical day, Beth Cooper." So I have a signed copy. So this book is about a character called Poppy Darling who has lost her sense of self through a toxic relationship that has now broken down. And she doesn't know what to do with herself. She's recognised that she's going to be on her own, poor. The job she's in isn't going to support her. This breakup has made her realise that her life, everything in it, is very toxic. Her best friend Kira works for the Walt Disney Company and lives out in the States in Florida. And so Kira, when she finds out what happened, says, "Girl, come deal with the breakup over here and have some fun." And Poppy does it, and so she gets rid of these formal clothes she hates, she dyes her hair, and off she goes to Florida. She does what every woman does when there's a breakup. New hair, new identity. Don't I know it? Although mine wasn't a breakup, mine was a mental breakdown. Oh, jokes aside, actually kind of true. So, that's your brief overview of this book. Obviously, I was instantly interested. It's Disney themed. It's about the Disney parks. I love books that are set in the Disney parks. I haven't done much on this channel about it. I've got tons more book reviews coming. There's another whole series that I've read that I'm going to talk about on this channel probably in the next few months. I've read the whole lot now, and it's set in the Disney parks. So when I picked this up, I obviously was thrilled. Now I can already hear someone saying, "Girl, you picked this up in 2020, so why are we talking about it in 2025? Well, the reason for that is I never read it. It sat on my shelf in my to-be-read pile, and it just sat there. I had no excuse other than life got busy and I was going through all these other books, and when I was packing for my holiday, I thought, let's pack 2 chunky books, 1 thinner book, and we'll go from there. And I was already reading one when I left. I took 4 books in total. I read the whole lot. And so I finished the book I was reading, and I got on holiday, I was just exhausted. So I decided I'd read this one straight after reading my last book review you saw, which was Adam Hatton's Hiding Him. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it above and below. So then I moved on to this book, and oh my god. I struggle for words for this book. So here is your spoiler-free version. We are going to read the blurb so you can get an idea of what Beth Cooper wants you to know about this book. Being miserable at Walt Disney World is simply not allowed. Poppy Darling has always loved Disney from a young age, ever since her dad took her to the cinema to watch her very first film. The imagination, the uplifting music, the far-off places, daring sword fights, magic spells, a prince in disguise, everything. But recently, her life has been missing laughter, void of any sparkle, especially when her boyfriend, Art, ditches her the day before their holiday. Suddenly finding herself homeless and boyfriendless, Poppy is at a loss, unsure about which path in life to take next. However, her best friend Kira steps in to save the day and offers her a chance to recapture the wonderful magic in her life. With the help of Carter, the American cast member, and Elliot, the reluctant journalist, Poppy finds herself on a quest to remember who she actually is. Fun, laughter, tears, and lots of Disney classic references. Remember Who You Are is the perfect read for the Disney fanatic in all of us. And that tells you exactly what the story's about. Again, the blurb 100% matches the story. Now, in terms of this story, it is 228 pages long, and the font, it's not the biggest in the world. So although it's a thinner book, it's a pretty big read. Not a big read, it's a pretty good read is the way I put it. The themes of this book obviously are Disney. Love, heartbreak, bad choices. But I think at the forefront, if you take away all of that, it really is about remembering who you are. It's all about this character Poppy rediscovering who she is and what she wants from life. And it really makes a note that all this romance and all these relationships are happening around her, and she seems to get herself in these situations. And the whole time it's just her going, who am I? And eventually she figures it out. Eventually she gets there. In terms of the writing and the style, it's pretty good. It's got a nice speed. Like I said, I don't want to put it down. It flows really well from chapter to chapter. There are chunks, I think you get this with a lot of stories that have romance in, where it felt like we were repeating dialogue but with different words. We were repeating narrative with different words, and I was like, come on, we've got the point. She's happy with this guy Carter. Oh, we've got the point. She's now upset with Carter. So it did at some points feel a little repetitive. In terms of if it's in first or third person, it would never be second. Second is an instruction manual. It's third person. So Poppy carefully stepped towards Carter. She remembered the butterfly she had felt when he first kissed her for the first time. So it's he's and she's, theys and thems. I like this being in third person, even though it was very much focused on Poppy sort of growing up a bit and realising who she is. It meant it allowed us to understand her, what she looks like, her vision, her life, her style very clearly. From it being in the third person, it allowed for description to be a lot stronger. So the characters and relationships, the main players in this, you'd think would be her ex-boyfriend Art, but actually no, he is so irrelevant in all of this. I kind of love it. No, the main characters are Poppy, it's her life, her story, and then Carter and Elliot. So, little spoiler, when she gets to Disney, she meets people. She meets Carter first, and it becomes a little romantic. Elliot, well, that's a much harder relationship to describe without giving any spoilers, but it's fair to say they do not see eye to eye. And yeah, the relationship she develops with people, you really get the sense that this could happen in real life. They all feel quite real human beings, which is nice, and it means that relationships feel well-rounded and realistic. In terms of which characters stayed with me, actually, Elliot, I think he's my favourite character of the lot, and I think that is a hard one to talk about. Yeah, I just resonate with Elliot a lot. He's moody, he's got quick comebacks, he's not into the whole Disney thing. I suppose in a way he kind of, please don't take this the wrong way, Daniel, if you see this video, kind of reminds me a little bit of my husband when it comes to Disney or his birthday. He's generally not that miserable and moody, but it did give Daniel vibes when it comes to me whittling on about Disney, and he's just there like, not a big Disney fan. He's getting there. He actually enjoys the parks quite a bit now. He's been twice with me, and we're going for a third time this October. So, you know, he's getting there. He's Elliot halfway through the story. Yeah, Elliot was definitely the one that I think lingers me most. Although Poppy is the lead character and it's about her growing up and her becoming who she really is and living the life she really wants. And I do resonate with her a lot. Elliot just felt very familiar to me. Very real. In terms of weak points, I do think there's some moments where it drags out. When it's Poppy on her own and she's thinking about what's happening and it's talking through her thoughts, it does go on a bit. But I suppose when there's romance involved, it does consume your thoughts. So it is an accurate representation of what your thoughts might be like in real life, where you can't stop thinking about a situation. But as a reader, it does mean there's bits where I'm trying to speed read through chunks of it. So who do I think should read this book? Disney fans. Straight up, that is the answer. I would say this book is probably only appropriate for people above the age of 18. There are some pretty spicy moments that I wasn't prepared for in this book. Although I wouldn't say it's a spicy romance, there were some moments where I didn't expect it to go in that route. And it certainly doesn't imply in the blurb that it's going down that route. So that was a bit of a, oh, okay, here we go. So I would probably only let people above the age of 18 read it. I do think it because it's set so much in the Disney parks and it's got so many park references. You know, today we went to Animal Kingdom and we went and fed these animals and we went on this ride and I went to Walt's statue. It's got a lot of Disney references that I think only Disney fans would get a lot of joy out of. If I was to give this to one of my friends who isn't that big a Disney fan, I don't know if they would enjoy it as much. I don't think it's impossible for you to not enjoy it if you're not a Disney fan. I do think that there is a connection and nostalgia there with the Disney references that I think Disney fans would enjoy from this a lot more. Would I reread it? Yes, I would reread it. Would I reread it? 100% yes, I would. I don't know how often I would be pulled back to read it. But you know, if I've got a short flight, it's a good length. It's a good length to do on a short flight. You know, if I'm going away with just a group of friends for a few days and we know when we sit on sun lounges, this is a great book for that because it's quite easy, it's not too heavy, it doesn't take up much space. So yeah, I would read it again. I do enjoy the story and the characters. Has it changed my perspective on anything? Kind of, yeah. It definitely helped resonate with me, the idea of being more you and not letting other people dictate who you are. I've had that whole thing over the past few years, and so this really helped, I suppose, round off that journey for me to an extent. So it did start to change my perspective, you know, of how she was treated and how she reacted. And it was similar, but over a longer period of time for me. So yeah, it changed my perspective a little bit on how I view myself and how I treat others as well. Particularly, you know, from the outside you wouldn't assume Poppy doesn't know who she is, and you know, she seems like she's got her head together, but actually underneath the surface there's a lot more going on. And I do think it teaches you to think about how we treat and talk to each other 100%, particularly with the whole Carter dynamic that happens in the story. No spoilers, but like, girl. Right, I haven't ummed and ahed this star rating now for about 5 minutes, and I feel like I can confidently say it's a 4.5. I did say I wasn't going to do half stars, but here we are. The reason it loses half a star is, like I said, there are chunks of it where I feel like it goes on a little bit, particularly when it's Poppy thinking about what's happening and it just sort of repeats a little bit. If that was cut out, we could have had more story, more events, more dialogue, and I would have preferred that kind of interaction with the other characters. So I would say this is a 4.5 from me. In terms of Beth Cooper's other works, because she does do other books, from what I've seen online, there are no other ones set in Disney. She does have other books available. I have not read them. I am intrigued to read them, but I promised myself to buy no more books until I've read everything that's on my shelf. We'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, I would read her other works as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to hear more of my movie reviews or my book reviews or see what I get up to, then please like and subscribe. I want to really make this channel a big thing this year, and this is part of it. So please come on the journey with me. I'd really appreciate it. In terms of my next book review, we're heading back to one of my favourite authors, and that is Serena Valentino. So subscribe just so you know when that's coming out. Thank you for watching. Bye!